Hi guys, so today I want us to talk about African stores. You know, a lot of Nigerian businesses, a lot of African businesses, Ghanaian, Kenyan, wherever you are, you want to have your products in African stores, right? Now, how do you get in there? You know, let's talk about that for today. You see, one thing that most people fail to realize is that the African stores, even though they are African stores, they are in the USA. Now, if your product is going to be in an African store in the USA, what is the first thing that needs to be done? The first thing is that your products have to meet the requirements to enter the USA in the first place. And that's where the FDA rules apply. Look, African stores are no different. They have to meet those rules. There's no difference. All right. So what are those rules that we really need to think about? Number one, obviously, is the FDA rules, right? You need to get your products in compliance with FDA. Your labeling must be right. Your allergens must be. Now, let me talk about allergens. I know a lot of you don't know about this, right? The FDA requires that if you are selling any form of food product, to make sure you have the allergens listed on them. And they've identified a couple of allergens, I think about 15 or so, I don't remember the exact number, that must be listed. Now, what are allergens? People are allergic to various type of products, right? Look, there are people who are allergic to ordinary peanut butter, granite. And when they eat anything that is made of granite, what happens? Their face swell up, you know, they have all forms of issues. Right? And that is what allergens do. So you must be able to identify in the product that you are going to be selling in African stores if these things have some form of allergens. And all that has to do with the FDA rules. You must understand what these rules are. All right. Now, that is number one. Now, let's forget the FDA. Let's say you meet the FDA rules, right? The second problem I see all the time is pricing. A lot of us get it wrong when we come to pricing. You know, we want to sell products to African stores, but we are probably using the mindset of the cost of that product on a place like Amazon. So let me give an example. And we all need to realize one thing. A lot, virtually 95 let me say 80 to 95% of these African stores are owned by Africans like us. So what does that mean? It means that they have access to your local market. They know how much you're selling these products locally. So when somebody is selling something in an African store for $20 and you want to sell it to them for $15, when they know they can go back home and get that thing for $3 or $4, it ain't gonna fly. And I'm not joking, it's not gonna work. That is the problem. Let me give you an example, right? Of recent, we had a deal where we were trying to get a product in the African store. You know, good product, you know, we had helped to design the product, revamp the product. The product was fantastic. And the seller wanted to sell it for about $21 because why? You know, they saw that the African stores were selling it for how much? For about $29 or so. Now, this same product, the seller sells it locally for, what do you call it? The seller sells it locally for about $8. And now you want to sell it $21. You're forgetting that the African stores know this pricing because, again, they have access to your local market. They have brothers, they have friends, they have relatives back home who have the ability to get them these products at the local pricing. So you got to be wise. Look, your pricing must be good. Let's get it straight. No African store is going to come to you, because they are so patriotic, and then they are going to buy a product from you for $21 when they know they can get it locally at home for about $8 and maybe ship it to the US with $2 or thereabout. So these are things we need to watch out for, right? You don't just go listing prices anyhow. So again, your pricing must be competitive. And this is one of the reasons, I can tell you for a fact, this is one of the reasons a lot of African stores, even right here in the USA, you will see that a lot of them are selling products from non-African destinations. Pricing. But you know what I have seen, especially Nigeria, because I'm closer to Nigeria than any other country. One of the things I have seen is that a lot of our prices are very competitive. So again, number one, Once you've gotten your FDA requirements right, number two, your pricing has to be competitive. Look, you will still make a lot of money selling in a reasonable price to them. Because again, if you are selling that the same product that you want to sell to them for $21 back home for $8, then you're already making profit because you won't be selling at a loss at $8. Most of the African stores are going to be reasonable. Some are going to say, you know what, I'll buy from you for $9. Some will say, I'll buy for you from $10. That's about $2 extra per item that you're adding to your package. And they have the ability to buy in bulk. They have the ability to pay you in dollars. So we need to get it right. We need to get it right. Number one is get your FDA things right. Get your labeling, get your packaging right. It must meet the US specification. Again, why? Because these African stores are selling in the USA. Number two, your pricing has to be right. Don't come up with some funny prices based on what you see online or what you see on Amazon. Again, you need to remember that when you are selling something on Amazon, Amazon has to remove the delivery cost to the final customer as well as their percentage. That's why prices on Amazon are typically a little bit higher. Okay, so there's a lot of things that we need to factor. Tomorrow I'm going to talk more on more issues.